Something strange is happening at this World Cup. The biggest teams on the planet keep walking onto the pitch as massive favorites and walking off with nothing but a draw against tiny nations nobody expected to compete with. And it is not happening once. It is happening everywhere. So let's calmly work out why. Because there is an actual pattern here, not just luck. Start with the big one. Spain, one of the favorites to win the entire tournament, ranked second in the world, got held to 0-0 by Cape Verde. Cape Verde are a country of about 500,000 people, ranked 67th, playing in their first ever World Cup. On paper, that is not a contest, and yet Spain could not score. Their center forward did not touch the ball for the first half hour, the longest any player has gone without a touch since records started in 1966. A tiny island nation completely shut a giant down. But here is the thing. Spain were not even close to alone. Look at Belgium, one of the most talented squads on the planet, ranked 9th. They were held to a 1-1 draw by Egypt, who sat deep, defended for their lives, and actually led the game. Belgium needed a scrappy late own goal just to rescue a single point. A team full of superstars rescued at the death by an accident. Then there is Portugal, a Cristiano Ronaldo-led side, genuine contenders, also drew their opener, held 1-1 by DR Congo, a nation playing its first World Cup match in 52 years.
Ronaldo missed chance after chance, and Portugal walked off with 2 points dropped. And it keeps going. Uruguay, a serious dark horse, were held by Saudi Arabia. Switzerland drew Qatar. Across the first 16 games of this tournament, 8 of them ended in draws. Half. Again and again, the favorite drops points. So what on earth is going on? Here is the first reason, and it is the simplest. The underdogs have all figured out exactly how to play these games, and they do the same thing. They park the bus. That just means they forget about attacking and pack their entire team deep in front of their own goal. Cape Verde lined up in a 5-4-1.
5 defenders, 4 midfielders, 1 lonely striker. Egypt did the same to Belgium. DR Congo did it to Portugal. The plan is not to play pretty football. It is to build a human wall, soak up everything, and frustrate the favorite into a slow, harmless death. And against a packed defense, being the better team almost works against you. When all 11 opponents are sitting deep, there is simply no space behind them to run into. The favorite ends up passing side to side in front of the wall, looking dangerous, but never actually getting through. All of the ball, none of the danger.
There's also a mental side to this, and it is bigger than people think. For the underdog, a draw against Spain is the greatest day in their footballing history. They play with total freedom, nothing to lose, every player throwing his body in front of shots like it is a cup final. For the favorite, it is the opposite. They are expected to win easily, so there is only pressure and no reward. The longer the game stays level, the more nervous they get, the more they force it, and the worse they play. The underdog gets braver. The favorite gets tighter. That gap does half the work. Then there is the modern football reason. The gap between the big nations and the small ones is genuinely shrinking. Players from tiny countries now train at top European clubs with the same coaches, the same sports science, the same tactical education as the superstars. Cape Verde's goalkeeper is 40 years old and stood on his head.
These are not amateurs anymore. They are well-drilled, organized, professional teams who know exactly how to make life miserable for a giant. But here's the part that ties it all together, and it is unique to this tournament. This is the first World Cup with 48 teams instead of 32. 16 extra nations got in, and a lot of them are these smaller, lower-ranked sides. More minnows in the tournament simply means more chances for a giant killing.
The format itself is manufacturing these mismatches. You take more underdogs, give them a low-risk game plan that already works, add the pressure that crushes favorites, and you get exactly what we are seeing, an epidemic of draws. So, no, the favorites are not suddenly bad. They're just running into a perfect storm. Smart, organized underdogs who park the bus, play with zero fear, and only need a single point to make history in a bigger tournament that is stuffed with them. Possession means nothing if you cannot break the wall down. And right now, the walls are winning. The big question is whether the favorites adjust before it costs them. Because in this new format, a couple of dropped points early can quietly turn into a disaster later. Stick around, because this is exactly the kind of chaos that makes a World Cup unforgettable. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to Doodle FC, where we make the whole game make sense.